Today is Europe Day 2017, and the reason why it's Europe Day is that on this day in 1950, Robert Schuman, the French foreign minister, gave a speech proposing that France and Germany linked their coal and steel production. The idea being that there had been ages-old antagonism between the two countries, and the way to solve it was just to work together and have mutual interests. And he proposed also that other surrounding countries could join it to make a community, and that's what they did, because within a year 6 countries signed up to the Treaty of Paris, forming this initial European coal and steel community. So it's Europe Day 2017 now. I did a Europe Day video this time last year, and a lot has changed since then, because since then we've had the referendum vote to leave. We've had Donald Trump come in. We've had David Cameron be replaced by Theresa May. Then we've had the elections in Europe, in Austria, in the Netherlands, and now in France. And so since this time last year, there have been 2 sort of rude awakenings. One, of course, was with Brexit and Trump. I had friends saying to me, you know, why are you doing what you're doing? No one's going to vote to leave the EU, surely. And they just weren't connected with what other people were saying and thinking. Similarly, I had on social media people making comments of, so there are actually people who are going to vote to remain. I don't know anyone who's going to vote to remain. So you had sort of 2 cultures that hadn't interacted at all, but now all of that has opened up. And similarly, there was a rude awakening with Macron's win just now, and you could see it in a lot of the responses. So here's a fun diversion which is related to that, which is Westminster, Aaron Banks' new operation. They didn't know what to do with this. Leave.eu put out a tweet, RIP France. You saw others going RIP France. The Sun and the Daily Mail couldn't bear to put this on their front pages. The Daily Express had already done a poll of who would you like to win out of all of the original candidates. 91% of 17,000 votes for Marine Le Pen. They'd all really bigged her up. And so Westminster didn't know what to do with this result. After moping about it, tried to find something good in it. So it put out a tweet saying, the youth voters with Le Pen, sharp generational divide, 44% of youth for Le Pen, over 80% of the plus 65s for Macron. Which is, if you do 100 minus 44, that's 56% for Macron, and they even put that in their article. You know, the breakdown by age group. Macron wins in every age group. That's not a generational divide. 56% were for Macron. That's a 12-point difference, 3 times as large as the vote to leave the EU. If you want a generational divide, look at Brexit, where the youth voted one way and the older generation voted another way. Did Westminster care about the youth then, and the youth vote and what that meant? I don't think so. They are coming to deal with the new reality of Europe, which is a resurgent feeling of Europe. Europe is not about to fall apart. They have come through those elections. Macron's win was a landslide. The Eurozone is growing faster than the UK economy, faster than the US economy. The EU 27 are cohesive in their plan for how they handle Brexit. There is also a new sense of enthusiasm for what Europe is about and the EU is about, with Brexit and Donald Trump as a backdrop. So it means that we all have to get thinking. And what I said this time last year in my Europe Day video was, I want my country back, and I want my country back from the tabloids that have hijacked our political direction and driven it and poured out ample lies and trash talk about immigrants and trash talk about the EU and our neighbours. And I don't see that as fundamentally British. I see it as fundamentally British to be level-headed, pragmatic, fair play, talk about facts, evidence-based policy. This is what we should be about, in my view, and this is what we need to fight for now, in my view, so that our country is not mean-spirited but rather team-spirited, working with our neighbours, That's what I'd like to see, and that's what we all need to fight for, because that is the challenge that we face right now if we look at the dynamics in our country. And so no one can deny that if you look back to that Schuman Declaration of 1950, no one can deny that the story of Europe and the EU is a fascinating one. It is ambitious, it is a roller coaster, but it is something that we're part of. And my hope going forward is that we can join in on the new enthusiasm that is being felt about European science, about the European economy, about the European direction now. I want us to be fully part of all of that, because this is our neighbourhood.